This corpse is worth $7,000. Now quit your pussyfooting and shoot him.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 movie heroes who made things worse.
Like the sign says, you are now leaving Forest Green. Don't forget to buckle up. You are damn lucky, kid. With all the grief you've given me, you should be leaving wearing your balls as earrings.
For this list, we'll be looking at movie heroes and heroines whose attempts to do good or otherwise improve a situation only manage to do the opposite.
You're my hero. You inspired me. No kick-ass, no red mist. Seriously.
Wow.
Their actions could have been intentional or unintentional. Naturally, because these protagonists' actions affect the plots of their respective films, there will be spoilers ahead.
You silver-tongued devil, you.
Number 10, Dr. King Schultz, Django Unchained.
You work with me through the winter till the snow melts. I give you 1/3 of my bounties.
Dr. Schultz spends most of the movie acting as the wiser and worldlier mentor to freed slave Django. The dentist turned bounty hunter teaches Django how to shoot, read, and write, and helps him to reunite with his wife.
Candyland? Oh, so you've heard of it? Ain't no slave ain't heard of Candyland. Well, apparently that's where your wife is.
However, it's with this last endeavor that Schultz manages to make things go south. Pun intended.
If I don't shake your hand, you gonna throw away $12,000? I don't think so.
After Django's wife, Broomhilda, has been freed when they purchase her from her slave owner, Calvin Candy, the trio looks ready to make their getaway.
It's a custom here in the South. Once a business deal is concluded that the two parties shake hands, it implies good faith.
I'm not from the South.
However, Candy insists on shaking Schultz's hand. But because he's got a spring-loaded pistol hiding up his sleeve, Schultz just can't resist shooting him.
You really want me to shake your hand?
I insist.
If you insist.
This action leads to Schultz's death, as well as Candy's and several others, not to mention the capture and torture of Django and Broomhilda.
I'm sorry. I couldn't resist.
Number 9, David Drayton, The Mist.
What is it, Daddy?
Mist?
When you're the lead in an adaptation of Stephen King's work, chances are things aren't going to turn out well for you in the end.
What if you're wrong?
David acquits himself well enough throughout most of the film, navigating the paranoia induced by the titular mist and the monsters that lurk within it, and eventually leading his son and several others out of the store they've been trapped in.
All the way down. Right.
However, upon returning home, David finds that his wife has been killed by the creatures. By all appearances, the mist monsters have taken over everything. So, rather than have his son and the others torn apart by the vicious things, David saves them from that particular fate, only to discover a few minutes later that the human army has turned the tide against the creatures. Number 8, Evan Treborn, The Butterfly Effect.
If anyone finds this, it means my plan didn't work, and I'm already dead.
Time travel usually gets worse before it gets better. In Evan's case, it doesn't get better for a long time. After discovering his old journal, Evan finds himself able to travel back in time and change events from his past.
It's okay. It was just a dream.
Didn't feel like a dream.
However, his attempts to improve his life and the lives of his loved ones are rarely successful, and always have unintended consequences that ripple out of his smallest action in the past. These range from the deaths and disfigurement of his friends to him ending up in prison. So we'd say making it worse is an understatement.
Believe in that whole bit the Lord works in mysterious ways?
Straight up, man.
So I think Jesus sent me to your cell for a reason.
Number 7, Evelyn Evie Carnahan, The Mummy.
Oh, I dreamt about
about this since I was a little girl.
You dream about dead guys?
Oh, Evie, you fell for one of the classic blunders. Never disturb an Egyptian tomb. This adventurous librarian, along with a whole mess of others, is excavating the city of Hamunaptra when they uncover the mysterious Book of the Dead.
Amun-Ra, Amun-Day. It speaks of the night and of the day.
That night, in yet another classic blunder, Evelyn reads a passage aloud. Come on, this is basic stuff here. In the process, she revives the murderous high priest Imhotep, who proceeds to go on a killing spree and perform a resurrection ritual. Just goes to show that sometimes you should judge a book by its cover.
No! You must not read from the book!
Number 6. Detective David Mills, 7. When you look into the abyss long enough, the abyss stares back.
Very true. Very, very true.
David is a hot-headed detective who just moved to the unnamed city that 7 is set in with his wife Tracy, who was reluctant to relocate. However, unbeknownst to him, she is pregnant.
David and I are gonna have a baby.
Along with veteran detective William Somerset, David investigates a killer whose murders are based on the 7 deadly sins. The killer, John Doe, targets David, not only because of the cops' involvement in the investigation, but also because the murderer is envious of his happy life with Tracy.
You hear me, detective. I'm trying to tell you how much I admire you and your pretty wife.
To see his plan come to fruition, Doe goads Detective Mills into killing him by murdering Tracy, fulfilling the final sin of wrath, and ultimately ruining David's life in the process.
You lie! You're a f***ing liar! Shut up!
That's what he wants. He wants you to shoot him.
No!
Number 5. Dave Lazuski, Kick-Ass.
Why are you just as kick-ass?
Because I am kick-ass.
His intention was to become a superhero, so you can't say that Dave didn't mean well. Unfortunately, he kinda sucks at it, at least at first.
Okay, maybe I was still in the beta testing phase, but it was a start.
Unlike Big Daddy and Hit Girl, who are 2 actually competent superheroes trying to take down the mob, Dave gets all of the fame of a real-life superhero thanks to a viral video, despite having none of the ability. However, Kick-Ass's insecurities about his abilities lead him to trust Red Mist, the son of the mob boss being targeted by the other heroes.
Oh, check this, you're gonna f***ing love this.
Red Mist is merely posing as a hero to draw out those responsible.
As a great man once said, where do they get a load of me?
This ill-placed faith leads the mobsters to get a hold of Big Daddy and Kick-Ass, so they're able to burn the former to death and severely beat the latter.
With no power comes no responsibility. Except, that wasn't true.
Number 4. Rachel Keller, The Ring.
Noah, would you say that I'm gullible?
A journalist whose niece dies after supposedly watching a cursed videotape, Rachel, like so many other horror movie characters, just can't leave well enough alone. Instead of leaving the tape where it was or destroying it immediately, she watches it and ensures her death will occur in 7 days.
7 days.
However, there is an exception to this rule, since Rachel is able to avoid death because she makes a copy of the tape at the request of her ex, who, on the other hand, is not so lucky. In this case, the hero can be excused somewhat, as the bizarre rules surrounding the arcane video ensure that its victims have to pass it on. Even so, we're still not sure why she didn't just destroy the copy she made.
Why not me? What did I do that he didn't?
Number 3. Marty McFly, Back to the Future Part 2.
Oh, this is heavy.
While it was tempting to include Marty's screw-ups from the first and third films, his actions in the second film affect more people.
What's this?
It's a souvenir.
50 years of sports statistics. Hardly recreational reading material, Marty.
In Back to the Future Part 2, Marty buys a sports almanac in the future, with the intention of using it to get rich by betting on the results of games that are as yet unplayed in his present of 1985. Luckily, Doc manages to talk some sense into him.
I didn't invent the time machine for financial gain. The intent here is to gain a clear perception of humanity. Where we've been, where we're going, the pitfalls and the possibilities, the perils and the promise.
Unluckily, the McFly family nemesis Biff Tannen was eavesdropping on the situation. Since Marty didn't dispose of the almanac properly, Biff manages to deliver it to his past self, who becomes wealthy and ends up turning Hill Valley into a lawless wasteland in an alternate 1985.
It's a little matter we need to talk about.
Yeah, money, right? Well, forget it.
No, not money. Gray's Sports Almanac.
Of course, had Doc never invented the infernal time machine in the first place, none of that would have ever happened.
This can't be. I'm afraid it is happening, Marty, all of it.
Number 2, Ash Williams, Army of Darkness.
I ain't that good.
When it comes to reluctant heroes, we gotta say, hail to the king, baby.
Hail to the king, baby.
Ash Williams, fresh off his encounters with the Evil Dead and thrown back in time, just wants to get back home. However, it's this impatience and his memory that cost him and plenty of others.
When thou retrievest the book from its cradle, you must recite the words Klaatu Verata Nictu.
Klaatu Verata Nictu, okay.
When the critical moment comes for him to remove the evil book, the Necronomicon Ex Mortis, from its resting place, Ash forgets the last part of the incantation.
Nectar. Nickel.
Noodle. It's an N-word. It's definitely an N-word.
Because of this, the titular Army of Darkness awakens and begins to march on humanity.
Welcome back to the land of the living.
The fact that the army is led by an evil doppelganger of his is also largely Ash's fault.
I got a bone to pick with you. Come on!
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
I saw it. It's just like with Mr. Weasley. It's the same door I've been dreaming about for months, only I couldn't remember where I'd seen it before. Sirius said Voldemort was after something. Something he didn't have the last time, and it's in the Department of Mystery.
Half my heart to make you whole, its strength to purify your weakness. Live and remember your oath.
But here's the thing. I don't want to be the bad guy anymore.
Can't mess with the program, Ralph.
You're not going turbo, are you?
Number 1, Joy, Inside Out.
We have to do this for Riley.
The personified emotion of happiness inside a young girl named Riley, Joy takes the lead both inside Riley's head and in the film. This is partly due to the pride she has that Riley's defining memories are all happy.
Anyway, these are Riley's memories, and they're mostly happy, you'll notice, not to brag.
It's this conceit that leads her to overreact to the actions of sadness, as Joy is worried about Riley, as well as her own importance inside of her.
If you want to walk the long way, go for it, but Riley needs to be happy. I'm not missing that train.
If Joy had been more willing to accept sadness as an essential part of Riley's well-being earlier on, which she eventually does, she could have avoided much of the film's conflict and her many struggles. Then again, it would have been far less emotionally fulfilling if she had.
I just wanted Riley to be happy.
Do you agree with our list? Which movie hero do you think made things worse?
Their instruments won't work up here. Missile tracking won't work. They'll have to fire line of sight. If they bring the fight to us, then we have the home field advantage.
For more well-intentioned top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
Nice shot, Doc! You're not gonna believe this! We gotta go back to 1955!
I don't believe it!